Chosen one. You were never meant to blend in. You were born to stand out, to stand tall, to stand crowned. Not by accident, not by lineage of the earth, but by decree of the heavens. You see, the world gave you no title, but heaven gave you a throne. You were not born to follow, you were born to reign. And if you've ever wondered why you didn't fit in, why you felt different even in rooms full of noise, it's because royalty does not lower its vibration to be understood. It walks in silent authority, because it already knows who it is. You, chosen one, carry the signature of divinity in your soul. Your blood remembers, even when your mind forgets. This is not just poetry. This is prophecy, because inside you runs a current of ancient power, not just human blood, but royal essence, a sacred contract signed long before your birth. You are the descendant of kings who needed no throne to be powerful, and the child of a God who calls you by name. Your crown, it wasn't handed to you. It was forged in fire, in silence, in betrayal. In every moment you stayed true to your soul when no one was watching. That's the kind of royalty that cannot be faked. The kind that doesn't glitter, but glows. It doesn't shout, but shifts atmospheres. It doesn't compete, it commands. Do you feel it now? The way the world keeps trying to mold you, distract you, make you forget what's in your bones? But your bones remember. Your spirit remembers. The thrones of Sirius, the scrolls of ancient Kemet, the golden eye of Sekhmet still guarding your path, the blessings of Vishnu still vibrating in your Dharma. You weren't just born in this life, you arrived. Arrived carrying blueprints, arrived carrying scrolls, arrived to restore divine order in a world that forgot what royalty looks like. This is your call to remember, to reclaim the crown within, to realign with your spiritual authority, because royalty isn't proven by costume, it's proven by character, by how you hold your power when no one is clapping, by how you carry your integrity when the room gets dark, by how you refuse to be what they expect, and instead rise as what heaven designed. Don't you see? You've already led without followers. You've already ruled without applause. You've already carried light in places no one else dared to walk. Because leadership for the chosen one is not about status. It's about service. It's about spiritual alignment. It's about knowing when to speak and when to let your silence thunder through the atmosphere. So if the world has tried to label you as weak, as strange, as too much or too quiet, let them, because the kings and queens of old were never loud. They were felt, and you've been felt by every room you entered, by every spirit that couldn't explain why they stared, by every energy that couldn't handle your stillness. They didn't know how to name it, but it was your crown speaking before you did. So say it now, declare it. I was not born to follow. I was born to reign. Type it in the comments. Speak it aloud if you feel it. Claim it in your spirit like it's already done. Because the crown wasn't placed on your head by human hands. It was burned into your soul, forged in fire. And that kind of crown can't be stolen, can't be copied, can't be broken. Chosen one. You are not waiting to be crowned. You are the crown. And this is only the beginning. Chosen one. There is a reason your silence shakes rooms. And when you do speak, everything shifts. Because your voice is not just sound. It is summoning. It is activation. It is divine architecture in motion. You don't just speak to be heard. You speak to command, to move things, to align dimensions. Your voice carries blueprints that heaven remembers. Blueprints that even you forgot you carried. And now, it's time to remember. Because the words of the chosen ones are not casual. They're coded. encoded with light, laced with legacy, rooted in divine covenant. When you speak, heaven leans in, earth listens, darkness trembles. You say enough, and cycles break. You whisper now, and delays collapse. You declare, let there be, and there is. This is not poetry. This is spiritual science, prophetic technology. You're not echoing, you're constructing. Your voice builds. It builds faith. It builds futures. It builds freedom. That's why the enemy always attacked your mouth first. Not your hands, not your gifts, but your voice. Because they knew. If you ever found out what was in your sound, you'd stop narrating pain and start commanding power. You'd stop saying, I hope it gets better, and start saying, it is done. That's when your reality shifts. Not when you try harder, but when you speak from knowing. Because chosen one, your words are not weak. They are not wasted. They are weapons. You were never called to beg with your voice. You were called to bless, bind, break, and build. Just like the prophets of old, who split seas with a sentence, who called down fire with a phrase, who shook kingdoms with a whisper. And now, that same authority has awakened in you. The world will try to label it confidence, but it's not ego, it's encoded memory. You were sent with this voice, not to entertain, but to enact, not to explain, but to establish, not to echo, but to construct new worlds. So speak, even when your knees shake, even when your past whispers, stay silent, even when they look confused by your boldness, because your voice is not for them. It's for what's waiting on the other side of your obedience. Do you understand what I'm saying? Mountains are waiting for you to speak. Doors are waiting to unlock at your word. Your future is hovering, just waiting for your vocal permission. Let there be light. Let there be peace. Let there be alignment. Let there be me, fully walking in what I was born to release. Say it with me. I speak. Heaven moves. Write it in the comments. Declare it like thunder in your room. Because every time you use your voice with alignment, you're not just talking, you're shifting timelines, and you're not shouting to be noticed. You're whispering things into divine position. Chosen one, the throne was never just physical, it was spoken into being. The same God who spoke the world into form put his voice inside you, and now it's time to use it, not to react, but to rebuild, not to defend, but to design. You're not just here to speak life, you're here to construct it. With every word, you are not echoing the world. You are building the one you came to lead. This is the return of your command, the awakening of your prophetic frequency. So step into it and speak like you were born to shift stars, because you were chosen one. You were never fighting just what your eyes could see. Your war was always invisible. While others argued in the physical, you felt the real weight pressing in from the spiritual. You sensed it. That room where the air got heavy for no reason. That conversation where the words were light, but the energy was thick. That sudden fear, confusion, or pressure with no logical cause. That's not imagination. That's intelligence, spiritual intelligence. Because you weren't sent here to survive this world. You were sent here to govern it, not just what is seen, but what moves beneath the surface. And that's the power you're reclaiming now. Let me remind you, the spirit realm doesn't answer to chaos. It doesn't obey emotions. It responds to order, to alignment, to purity of intention. And that is why your soul has been through so much. To become clean enough to carry command. Because the divine doesn't flow through ego. It flows through clarity. It flows through those who no longer chase validation, but walk in vibration. And chosen one, you've been vibrating at a frequency that disrupts darkness without saying a word. Not because you're loud, but because your energy is clean, focused, untangled, and that is what gives you dominion over what others can't even see. You walk into a space and spirits shift. The atmosphere holds its breath. Even demons recognize the authority that's resting on you, the ones you didn't even know you carried, because heaven placed something on you before you ever earned it. You were marked, anointed, set apart. But that authority doesn't come from yelling. It doesn't come from theatrics. It comes from inner alignment, from walking in integrity when no one's clapping, from choosing peace when war was easier, from commanding yourself before commanding the world. Because spiritual authority is not in volume, it's in vibration. And now, every dimension is watching. The spirit world is waiting for your next internal decision, not your next Instagram post, not your next argument, but the moment you say, I'm ready to rule the unseen. You see, chosen one, witches cast spells, but you carry divine instruction. You don't manipulate energy, you govern it, not through control, but through clarity. So when you say peace, chaos has no choice but to bow. When you say move, the spiritual realm shifts to make it so, but only if your soul is aligned, only if your heart is clean, only if you mean what you say, because the universe doesn't respond to performance. It responds to truth, and truth is the language of kings, of priests, of the chosen. So declare it now, say it aloud or write it below. I command beyond sight in the unseen aligns. Let this be your activation. Let this be your reminder. You don't need to see everything to move it. You just need to become what's aligned with heaven. And the rest will obey. Chosen one. You don't cast shadows. You cast order. You don't chase power. You restore it. Because in purity, you hold power. And in pure intention, you shift worlds. The world will never understand it, but the spirit realm always will. And it's already listening. Chosen one. There's a reason why people return to your presence, even after they walked away, even after they doubted you, even after they couldn't name what they felt around you, because you were never trying to lead. You were becoming what leadership truly is. You don't have to beg for loyalty. You radiate it. You don't force others to follow. Your spirit makes them feel safe. You're not the loudest in the room. But when things fall apart, yours is the energy people search for. Why? Because you carry a frequency most can't describe, but deeply remember. You are the stillness in the eye of the storm. You are the calm in someone's chaos. You are the map, the compass, the home they didn't know they needed until everything fell apart. That's not charisma, that's calling. And the truth is, you never asked to be the anchor. You just refused to drift when the tides came in. You never demanded trust. You became trust. Through your consistency, through your restraint, through your ability to sit in shadows without becoming them. While others reacted, you remembered who you are. While others screamed, you stayed rooted. While others scattered, you stood like a lighthouse, still, silent, and lit from within. Because your presence is more than physical. It's prophetic. It doesn't just enter rooms, it stabilizes them. And people don't always thank you for it. They don't always say your name, but deep down, they follow your light. Even when they pretend not to. This is what makes you different, chosen one. You don't lead with force, you lead with frequency. You don't convince people to trust you. You simply show up with such grounded power that their spirit can't help but align. Even the broken ones feel safer near you. Even the prideful ones quiet down. Even the manipulators lose their grip around your peace because your presence exposes what is fake. Your calmness threatens every illusion. Your silence demands every demon show itself. You don't talk much, but your stillness speaks. And that's what makes you dangerous to the darkness and precious to heaven. You've been an anchor in storms you didn't cause. You've held others together while falling apart quietly. You've been the place people come to breathe, even while suffocating yourself in secret. But here's the truth. Heaven has seen it all. And now, your stillness is being rewarded because God doesn't raise noisy kings. He anoints the quiet ones who've learned to govern themselves first. You don't lead crowds, you lead atmospheres. You don't beg for a platform, you become one. Say it now. I don't ask for trust, I become it. Type it, declare it, own it. Because the world may never understand why people follow you, but you don't need them to. You were never meant to control the storm. You were meant to guide through it. You are not a performer, you are a presence, and your presence is enough. Chosen one, you are the stillness that guides the storm. You don't need to be louder, just deeper, just purer, just truer. Because when the world gets loud, the soul always follows peace, and peace is who you've become. Chosen one, there is a realm you were born from, and it never forgot you. You didn't walk into this life empty-handed. You arrived with a covenant. You arrived with a lineage. You arrived with an army waiting on your alignment. They don't move at your fear. They don't respond to your panic. They're not activated by your pain. They move when you stand in clarity, when you speak with purpose, when you align with who you really are. Because you are not just a body, you are a soul, carrying the DNA of ancient kings, prophets, priests, and warriors of realms unseen. And those warriors, they know your voice. They know your mission. They've been waiting for your command. This is why you felt things watching you. Why even in your darkest hours, you were never completely alone. Because even in silence, you were surrounded, not by noise, but by intention. Not by people, but by presence. You've walked with angels unaware. You've been shielded by ancestors you never met. You've had doors closed by unseen hands, not to harm you, but to preserve your path. There's a force field around the chosen, but it doesn't activate through ego. It activates through order. And when you step into divine order, everything that belongs to you begins to respond. The wind changes, the atmosphere tightens, the spirit realm pauses, because a chosen one just took position. You were never meant to fight alone. You were never sent to battle with human strength. You were designed to command legions. But legions don't follow chaos. They follow clarity. They don't serve entitlement. They serve mission. So the question is, have you claimed your mission? Have you opened your mouth with alignment? Have you recognized that when you walk with righteousness, you multiply your presence? One step in obedience, and heaven sends reinforcement. One choice to honor your soul, and the angels shift their formation around you. You don't see them, but they move at your frequency. They speak your soul's language. They've guarded your dreams, warned you through intuition, stopped you from falling off cliffs you couldn't even see. They are real, they are near, and they are waiting for your signal, waiting for your authority, waiting for you to remember that you don't just represent yourself, you represent a kingdom, chosen one. You don't just walk with protection, you walk with strategy. The spirits assigned to your path are not confused, but they cannot override your indecision. They are not summoned by emotion. They are activated by clarity of purpose. So declare it with conviction. I don't fight alone. The unseen walks with me. Write it, say it, own it. Because when you align, you multiply. When you decide, the universe responds. You don't need to fight louder. You need to walk truer. Because the moment you truly step into who you are, every power designed to assist your destiny will rise with you. Not behind you, but around you. You are not outnumbered. You are out of hiding. And now that you're awake, so is your army. Chosen one. True royalty doesn't demand worship. It plants freedom. It doesn't carve statues. It builds people. And that's what you've been doing. Silently, humbly, consistently. You didn't seek legacy for fame. You sought it through impact, through moments, through whispers, through the silent ripple of one awakened soul. Because you know, real power is not about being remembered. It's about remembering others back to themselves. Like Ashoka, who turned from war to wisdom. Like Cleopatra, who wielded intellect as fiercely as any sword. Like Malala, whose voice became a lighthouse in a storm of silence. These were not monuments. These were movements. And so are you. You don't need a crown to be royal. You don't need applause to lead. You don't need the world to understand. Because heaven already wrote your impact in the language of souls. You're not building an empire of stone. You're building a temple of awakening. Every soul you lifted when you had nothing left. Every word you spoke that broke someone's inner chains. Every tear you held for someone who thought no one saw them. That was legacy. That was leadership. Because chosen one, your gift is not your voice. It's what your voice activates. Your crown is not what you wear. It's what you unlock in others. And your reward, it's not the throne. It's the awakening you spark. You were never meant to be a statue in a park. You were meant to be a living wave. A fire passed from soul to soul. And that's why you've always felt different. Because monuments are rooted in the past. But movements, they live in the now. Your presence shifts atmospheres. Your healing becomes contagious. Your truth triggers awakenings. And every life you touch becomes another stone in your invisible kingdom. A legacy not made of marble, but of hearts that remember who they are. So don't measure your impact by what the world sees. Measure it by what heaven confirms. Don't ask, who's watching me? Ask, who's waking up because of me? Because you are not here to be admired. You are here to set things in motion. You're not here to be liked. You're here to be felt. And when your time on this earth shifts, it will not be your face carved in history. It will be your energy carved into the soul of humanity. That is leadership. That is royalty. That is legacy. So say it now. My legacy is not a monument. It's a movement. Type it, breathe it, live it. Because every soul you lift, every person you heal, every mind you awaken, becomes part of the unseen kingdom you were born to build. You were never just chosen to lead. You were chosen to ignite. And the flame you carry isn't just for you. It's for every soul brave enough to stand beside it. Chosen one. There's a reason you've never fully fit into either mold. You are not just strength. You are not just softness. You are the bridge where both collide and create harmony. You were born with a sword in one hand and a balm in the other. You walk like Sekhmet, the lioness of divine wrath. You protect like Vishnu, the preserver of balance in a collapsing world. You are the storm in the stillness. You are the blaze in the river. You are the command and the compassion. And that is sacred. Because power without mercy becomes tyranny, and mercy without power becomes passivity. But you carry both, and that's why you're unstoppable. They tried to label you too much, too soft, too aggressive, too passive, but that was their confusion, not your truth. You were designed to disrupt the pattern, to break the false duality, to remind the world that true leadership doesn't choose between force or feeling. It fuses them. You command the battlefield. then tend the wounded. You speak with thunder, then wrap silence like a blanket around a trembling heart. You are the holy contradiction, the divine paradox, the prophecy in motion. And in that paradox, you become whole. When your sacred masculine rises, you lead with fire. You stand firm in justice. You draw boundaries. You declare war on what violates peace. But when your sacred feminine flows, you heal with water. You soften shame. You nurture what's unseen. You hold space for transformation without needing to be loud. And both are holy. Both are necessary. Both are you. This world doesn't need more warriors who can't feel or empaths who won't stand. It needs you, a soul who can burn through illusion and pour love on the ruins. Balance isn't weakness, it's sovereignty. You don't lose yourself to become one or the other. You become fully yourself when both are honored. So when people misunderstand your silence, know it's sacred stillness. When they fear your voice, know it's sacred fire. When they question your softness, know it's sacred power. Because chosen one, you weren't made to pick a side. You were made to embody the throne itself. Say it with your soul. I lead with fire. I heal with water. Not one, not the other, but both. Type it in the comments if this truth lives in your bones. Let the divine masculine and feminine in you rise together, because that's where your royalty lives. Not in dominance, not in submission, but in sacred balance, where your power kisses your purpose and your presence becomes a mirror. That shows others how to be whole again. You are not confusion, you are completion, and the world has been waiting for your example. Chosen one. There comes a moment in every royal lineage when the crown is no longer passed, but remembered. And this is that moment for you. You've waited long enough, waited for the world to catch up, for people to validate what heaven had already confirmed. You've toned yourself down to fit rooms that were never meant to hold your light. You've asked for signs when the fire was already burning in your bones. But hear this now. You are not being called up, you are being called back. Back to who you were before the world told you to shrink. Back to the moment your soul agreed to walk this path of awakening. Back to the throne your spirit built in silence, while everyone else was distracted by noise. Your awakening is not rebellion, it is remembrance. You're not rising to prove anything. You're rising because the earth needs what only you carry. This is not the season to wait for permission. You move with prophecy now, because chosen one, you were spoken into this moment before you ever breathed your first breath. Your gifts were coded in the cosmos. Your name was carved in light before it ever echoed in time. You are not new to this path. You are returning to it. The shift in you isn't a breakdown, it's activation. The discomfort isn't confusion, it's alignment. And the people pulling away, the chaos increasing, the silence between you and the old version of yourself, that's not loss, that's transition. Because the moment a true king or queen rises, the atmosphere bends, energies rearrange, false alliances fall away, and only what is divinely assigned remains. You are no longer who you were. You are no longer hiding who you are. And from this point forward, you walk as one who knows. No more waiting for green lights in places that were never yours to begin with. No more asking for validation from systems that fear your authority. No more shrinking for comfort. No more apologizing for your glow. Say it, I no longer wait for permission. I move with prophecy. And if this message stirs something deep in your soul, type I have returned in the comments. Let heaven and the algorithm both bear witness, because the ones watching your rise will either be humbled by your light or healed by your leadership. Either way, you're rising, and this rising is not a rebellion against who you've been. It is the return to who you were always meant to be. Step in, stand tall, and walk like your name was spoken by thunder, because it was.